What if one of the most significant cultural shifts of our time was engineered not in a boardroom, but in a writer's room? On January 10th, 1999, a signal was broadcast. It looked like a television show, but it was something else entirely, a Trojan horse designed to rewire how we tell stories, and in doing so, how we see ourselves. Number 5. The anti-hero as protagonist. Television, until this point, operated on a simple moral binary. Good versus evil. Heroes were heroes, villains were villains. But then we met a man driving out of the Lincoln Tunnel. A man who was a loving father, a dutiful son, and a sociopathic crime boss. Tony Soprano wasn't just a gangster. He was a patient, struggling with panic attacks and a deeply troubled psyche. By placing us inside the mind of a monster and forcing us to empathize with him, The Sopranos pilot shattered the mold. It revealed that the most compelling conflicts weren't between good and evil, but within a single, fractured soul. Suddenly, the audience was implicated, left to question their own moral compass in the quiet darkness of their living rooms. Number 4, the primacy of the subconscious, dreams, hallucinations, the quiet dread of a therapy session. Before The Sopranos, a character's interior world was usually expressed through explicit dialogue. The pilot, however, took us somewhere deeper. It established therapy not as a plot device, but as a parallel narrative, a space where the unspoken truths of the story could surface. Dr. Melfi's office became a confessional, a battleground for Tony's soul. The pilot's most revolutionary act was to suggest that what a character doesn't say, what they repress and fear, is more important than what they do. It turned the subconscious into a main character, a shadow self that would haunt television for decades to come. Number 3, cinematic language on the small screen. Television was once the small screen for a reason. Its visual language was functional, designed to deliver information quickly. Sitcoms were brightly lit. Dramas were shot with a predictable, steady rhythm. The Sopranos pilot rejected this. Creator David Chase, a frustrated filmmaker, brought the language of cinema to television. He used deliberate pacing, symbolic imagery, like the ducks in Tony's pool representing his fleeting family, and a visual grammar that demanded interpretation. The camera wasn't just observing, it was commenting. This wasn't just telling a story, it was building a world rich with texture and meaning. The pilot proved that a television series could possess the artistic ambition and visual depth of a feature film. Number 2, the redefinition of family. The traditional family drama was a network staple. But The Sopranos pilot presented two families, interwoven and inseparable. There was Tony's biological family, with its suburban anxieties and domestic tensions. And then there was his crime family, a brutal, high-stakes world of loyalty and betrayal. The pilot's genius was in showing how the rules and pathologies of one bled into the other. A business dispute mirrored a marital argument. A mother's manipulation echoed the power plays of a mob crew. It was a profound statement that the dynamics of power, love, and resentment are universal, whether at a backyard barbecue or in the back room of a strip club. The American family, in all its forms, was never seen the same way again. Number 1, the embrace of ambiguity. Perhaps the most unsettling change The Sopranos pilot introduced was its comfort with the unknown. It didn't offer easy answers. Why does Tony have panic attacks? Can a bad man truly want to be good? The episode ends not with a resolution, but with more questions. This refusal to provide clear moral takeaways was a radical departure from conventional television, which was built on the foundation of narrative closure. By introducing a story where the central conflicts were psychological and existential, the pilot taught the audience a new way to watch. It asked them not just to follow a plot, but to engage with themes, to sit with discomfort, and to accept that some truths remain forever out of reach. The patterns that emerged in that first hour of television did not fade. They became the blueprint. The morally grey anti-hero, the psychological depth, the cinematic scope. These are now the hallmarks of our modern golden age of television. The Sopranos pilot was more than an episode. It was a quiet declaration that the stories we tell ourselves could be as complex, as contradictory, and as profoundly human as life itself. The signal sent in 1999 is still echoing, its frequency embedded in the very DNA of the stories we consume today. The revolution, as it turns out, was televised.